All right, so today I'm going to talk about some of my rare dragon fruit cuttings and show you what they look like and how they're progressing. So this is my Hylo series Bronxensis blue. I'm pretty certain it's accurate, especially since I saw the mother plant and it was very, very blue. So next year, the cutting down here should turn blue. I think it takes about 2 to 3 years to turn blue. Now, you can see why I assumed that at first, these George Emmerich Jr. plants I assumed were also Bronxensis blue. And I thought that they just had been damaged, but they have totally different structures. Their spines are different, but you can see that this one's definitely bluish as well. And thanks to Gray Martin, he responded in some questions on Facebook and said that George Emmerich Sr. and George Emmerich Jr. were friends with Paul Townsend and most likely traded a lot of cuttings, so I have mostly old DNA. Now, in Paul Thompson's book, he describes a variety called Panama, and that's what I think these two are. They're very slow to grow, they're horny, and they do definitely get a bluish tint. Now you can see this one needs to be rooted some more. I'm rooting it, had some damage. You can even see it's really weird and kind of squishy there, so I'm washing it carefully. But this one has been great and is very, very slow to grow. And it's been in the greenhouse, so it's kind of really turned more olive color. But it's definitely, I think these two are the same. George Emmerich 3 and George Emmerich 15. So check it out. I think this is Panama. This is what the picture looks like and how Paul Thompson describes it. So if that new growth on those is bronze, I think we have Panama, which is great. Now here's another unique cutting we got from a local nursery. You can see it's got some new growth down here. And look at that. I've never seen anything so scaly and old, but I found it very interesting. Whoops. So I think this is probably, I just broke that off. Oh well. This is probably some type of Hylocereus ocamponus, but we'll find out. It's very funky. Now, moving on, here's George's Red. Definitely doing great. And I did learn that George's Red here has nothing to do with George Emmerich Jr.'s plants. So unrelated. And that's been proven thanks to some great people in Facebook groups, especially a nice lady named Edna. So thank you for that. Now here's Edgar. It's also growing really well. It's not Edgar's baby, it's Edgar. And wow, talk about a vigorous grower. So I really like how this plant is thriving in the greenhouse, and I'm gonna trellis this next season. Hopefully it doesn't hit the roof of our greenhouse before then. This is Bloody Mary. It's definitely doing really, really well. And definitely a unique looking variety that we have in the collection. It does kind of remind me a little bit of the Trinidad that we have, which I do think is an accurate variety. We'll talk about that in the future. And here's the Godzillas. You can see definitely a unique looking variety as well. And their new growth is great. Let me go show you this one. So really happy, really thriving. And my buddy that I got it from said that this plant likes to grow anywhere but up. So it's kind of like twisted like Maki-Supa and aggressive. And I also learned that I believe it's native to Hawaii, the island of Oahu. So I'll see if I can learn more about that, but time will tell. Up next is another native to Hawaii, or at least it was created in Hawaii, I should say. And this is Hawaiian Purple. So you can see it's definitely a unique variety as well. I really like how it looks. And this beauty is the strawberry pear, native to Puerto Rico, Hylocereus trigonus. It's doing really well. So I was kind of worried because I thought I'd prefer more tropical weather, but it's doing great in the greenhouse, as you could see. Now next up, I'm pretty sure that this is San Lorenzo, especially by the growth and just its traits. I mean, what other variety would have spines that long? Although it was labeled as Enzo. So that's an annoying thing about dragon fruit, is you kind of Need to look for unique characteristics, and time will tell. I need to see the fruit to be sure. But definitely, what other variety has spines longer than Lisa or Trisha, I should say. Trisha or El Grullo have really long spines too, but these are longer. So San Lorenzo. Now this is a very unique looking plant, just like my friend that sent it to me. I mean, you look at that, this is baby Serrato. What else looks like that? Talk about a unique, beautiful little pitaya. So I'm excited to see how that does. Now here's the tissue cultured American Beauty. Notice that with a tissue culture, I heard it crack, I don't want to hurt this. With tissue cultured plants, you're kind of best just getting long cuttings from it and then starting again. So you can see they really want to grow out, and it's definitely just a unique way to grow dragon fruit from tissue culture in my opinion. And my advice is, this is our second variety, tissue cultured, is to just take cuttings from this thing and just let it keep shooting out new growth. But wait until you get a nice long mature cutting. So I'm gonna probably pull this in another couple weeks so I could root it before winter sets in. So that is American Beauty tissue cultured. Up next, let's see, this is Townsend Pink, which a lot of people seem to like or want. And I hope it tastes as good as my Laverne Pink that we ended up having. So that is Townsend Pink. All right, here's that Thai Blood. Now, I have another larger cutting that our buddy Pep sent us, but look at that. Definitely unique growth, and that's what I wanted to share. The other one, I accidentally broke off the growth, but it's doing fine. Now, the unique ones. Now this is a pitaya, and I'm pretty sure it's called the Midnight Lady Apple Cactus. It's a Harrisia variety. But this thing has taken over a year to start shooting new growth, and I tossed it into the greenhouse, and that is what finally happened. Now here is my little Selenocerius validus. It's very, very aggressive. It's very happy. And it even has one of its fruit still. This was the one cross-pollinated with the Princess of the Night pollen. So I'm excited to see what happens there. And it did lose its fruit when it was cross-pollinated with a night-blooming cereus similar to the Peruvian apple cactus. But I think that was because it's a small cutting and it just couldn't support 2 fruit. But it did seem to accept the pollen, so we'll know more in the future. All right, so there are some of the unique varieties that we're lucky enough to grow. So give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll share some more in the future. All right, have a great day. Thanks.